Go.
We're the Larson brothers, Orland and Dale, and we formed the Ohio Healthy Food Cooperative. Our intention is to produce a facility that will burn methane derived from biogas. Biogas is a product of fermentation of animal manure. We'll be funding our business by using crowdfunding to encourage ordinary investors, perhaps like people in the Occupy movement, to put up funds based on their return on the investment. This isn't a proposition where there's nothing coming back. When you invest in the Ohio Healthy Food Cooperative, you buy a bond. It's a debenture bond in small denominations from $20, $50, and $100, which are non-membership bonds. The other avenue we have is membership bonds. Those membership bonds will be 5-year and 10-year term bonds. In the event of our workers, we create a permanent membership, and that membership will last as long as the person's employed by the cooperative. We have 3 classes of investor. One will be the crowdfunding group, which will essentially be the folks that might have been involved in the Occupy Wall Street movement, and for people who are interested in ethical investment, where they're putting their money into businesses that have a purpose of improving the economy, improving the lives of the people that work for us and with us, and of course in eliminating the pollution from phosphorus and excess nitrogen. This second class of investor will be the workers and the concentrated animal farm operations, concentrated animal farming operations, will be the folks that have the supply of manure. These will be dairy farmers, hog farmers, and broiler farmers, perhaps egg farmers as well. This group of people that are involved in that activity will be permanent members, just as the workers will be. Now we can start on this.
You want me to do the first question?
Yes.
Well now, what is your crowdfunding effort about?
Well, we can solve a major pollution. We can solve a major pollution problem with the utilization of the pollutant source by converting it into a business that produces biogas. Biogas produces electricity. Biogas produces heating fuel. Biogas produces engine fuel for transportation and farm machinery. Electricity powers broad spectrum lighting. Biogas heat and light enables us to do greenhouses and produce vegetables. Greenhouses will grow vegetables, salads, soups, and whole vegetables. We'll produce strawberries, raspberries, blueberries. We'll have high-value plants for nutrient supplement extracts being sold to the supplement manufacturers and the pharmaceuticals. In addition to producing vegetables, of course, we'll be producing fertilizer. Our FertileComp is a 28% biofertilizer for agricultural use. FertileComp Plus adds extra nitrogen, silicates, and rock dust. And the most important product we'll have is our MacroGrow liquid microbial humectant. It's enhanced with 30 natural soil bacteria, fungi, algae, and protozoa.
Okay, now how much money do you expect to raise?
Well, our objective is to raise $2 million on the crowdfunding site.
It's a huge sum for crowdfunding. How are you going to do it?
Well, the FCC recently set new rules for raising money on social media. Their primary interest was the protection of small investors from scams. We set up the Capital Funders Cooperative as a crowdfunding portal. We're looking at 3 basic groups of investors.
Who are they? And what is your message?
Well, they're ordinary people that were typical of the Occupy Wall Street movement, young and old, black and white. They're the people that are fighting back against the domination of the economy and the huge income gap between the billionaire class that are the 1% and the rest of us. We're looking for celebrities, actors, musicians, and wealthy sports figures that enjoy 6- and 7-figure salaries. And our third objective is churches, pension funds, foundations, and university endowments. Our messages are slightly different for each group. First, we're telling everyone that our economy is skewed to favor the large corporations that are now recognized by the Supreme Court as persons, giving them greater power over our economy. Leslie Leopold, the author of Runaway Inequality, tells us that the top executives of a corporation that pays its lowest wage worker $10 an hour is rewarded with a wage of $8,840 an hour. We've all experienced a tour of Walmart to see that everything is imported from China. Wages in terms of buying power have declined or remained unchanged since the late 1970s, yet the prices of everything have risen. For example, a 1972 Ford pickup truck that sold for $18,000 now costs more than $30,000. Our food supply includes mass-produced vegetables that are based on the use of Roundup and other herbicides to eliminate human labor and are contaminated with chemical molecules and foreign DNA. Packaged foods have more than 20 ingredients, including additives for long shelf life and insect control. The ever-expanding capacity of computer chips has eliminated millions of jobs. We've abandoned millions of blacks, Latinos, and Caucasians to inner-city ghettos and rural slums where there are no jobs and no stores. 37% of our population is obese, subject to the ravages of diabetes, arthritis, heart disease, stroke, and cancer. Millions risk their health by drinking contaminated water, nitrites, heavy metals, mercury, lead, pharmaceutical residues, and toxic chemicals. Our message to the OWS group is they don't have to take it anymore. Invest, don't just protest. Our message to wealthy persons with high incomes is that they can make change possible, not with gifts or donations, but with investments. Investments that pay interest, investments that are recovered, investments that pay a share of the profits for the term of the partnership. Give and get back. Our message to institutions is that you can divest yourself of investments in fossil fuel, prisons, arms makers, and food monopolies and invest in ethical businesses that are directed at air, water, and soil pollution elimination, equitable wage and salary schedules that reduce the gap from 884 to 1 down to 30 to 1. Invest your donations and grant awards in such a way that your capital is returned twofold, teaching people how to live a lifetime of fulfillment with equitable incomes.
Just how do you plan to do this?
Well, we're going to try to inform the interested parties of our plan on our website, www.ohealthyfoodcoop.com, and our crowdfunding portal, www.capitalfunderscoop.com. Our first project is the Ohio Healthy Food Cooperative that will eliminate phosphorus pollution, reduce CO2 and methane, and create thousands of good jobs.
What is fertilizer runoff?
To understand the problem of runoff pollution, we must know the sources. We have a nationwide problem of farm fertilizer runoff from wasted animal manure spread as fertilizer. Concentrated animal manure feeding operations, CAFOs, are farms where large numbers of animals are kept in confined spaces to improve efficiency of management and feeding. A 1,400-pound cow produces about 15 pounds of feces and urine a day. A herd of 1,500 cows will produce almost 90 tons of liquid manure daily. There are reported to be 455,000 CAFO farms in the United States. These include egg farms, broiler farms, hog farms, and dairy farms that are defined by the thresholds, by the threshold levels. There are many more thousands of farms where farmers beat the threshold by feeding slightly less than the threshold number of animal units. The CAFO phenomenon began more than 40 years ago. Congress enacted the Clean Water Act that set up regulations for control of water pollution. The primary source was municipalities. Raw sewage was dumped into rivers and lakes. Sewage treatment was initiated by this problem, and some improvement was seen as a result. A hog farm with 2,000 hogs in residence produces as much feces and urine as a town of 2,000 people. While regulations set out by the EPA for CAFO farms were defined, litigation prevented any enforcement. Manure was seen as a disposal problem. The easiest disposal was land spreading. Farmers used their own land and their neighbors just to get rid of their manure.
What's the outcome of farm runoff?
Major phosphorus pollution of lakes like Lake St. Clair and Lake Erie occurs, where excessive runoff causes toxic algae blooms that poison drinking water for millions. Excessively high nitrite levels are also experienced that exceed EPA toxicity limits. Nitrates and nitrites are known as carcinogenic. Pollution for watershed streams flowing down the Mississippi River cause eutrophication in the delta at the Gulf of Mexico.
What is your solution?
We have a well-engineered European biogas plant with 60 successful operations at work. We've combined the biogas facility with greenhouses to fully utilize all outputs of biogas production. We developed this concept in 2006 when we published our Sustainable Agriculture Through Animal Waste Management. The book that I put together in 2006 was never accepted. To make this effective, we've organized a cooperative, and we've modeled it after the Mondragon Cooperative of Basque, Spain. The cooperative form of organization allows a total reinvestment of surplus funds. Reinvestment is the key to rapid growth.
How will people invest?
We have debenture bonds. Debenture bonds are an investment that's based on the faith of the investor in the project, the people, and the plans of the promoter. They pay a fixed rate of interest and have a set term of 5 or 10 years. Small denomination bonds of $20, $50, and $100 pay 4.5% and have a lump sum redemption in 5 years. These are non-membership bonds. The 5-year $250 bond pays 4.5% and redeems as a lump sum at the end of the 5th year and includes a 5-year membership for owners. There is a 5-year 4.5% $1,000 junior bond that redeems with a lump sum in 5 years and has a 5-year membership. The 10-year $2,000 junior bond pays 6%, a little better incentive, redeems at 10% per year, and has a 10-year membership. The 10-year bonds are redeemed with an amortization payment of 10% of the face value of the bond paid each anniversary, with the last payment at the end of the 10th year. Interest rates on the long-term bonds are 6%. In the case of senior bonds with 10 years, the membership is for 15 years.
What's the advantage of a cooperative?
Well, it's basically three classes of participant. In the cooperative, the workers have equal membership on a permanent basis. They'll receive fair pay for work because workers are part owners. They grow through reinvestment, and members decide the use of profits. The second group are the CAFO farmers, who also have a permanent membership. They participate by the use of our products at discount. We eliminate disposal problems, and they have a permanent income from the membership. Investors get a return of interest on the bonds. They have a return of their principal, which is invested, and they have a term membership share in the benefits of profit distributions.
How will you manage runoff?
We will absorb 100% of all CAFO manure with engineered production and marketing of biogas and fertilizer. These will be bulk sales and package sales for small farm consumers and export.
What are your marketing plans?
There will be heavy promotion of products. Advertising, radio, print, TV, social media will require video production capacity, which we will have. We'll need writers, actors, producers, directors, and Spanish and French translators. Technicians, camera technicians, set designers. In our sales, we'll have sales and direct marketing. Management will include executives, product managers, field sales managers, salespersons as specialists, and we'll have promotional salespeople that will work in displays, trade shows, and fairs. Our domestic and export market include the need for logistics and AID funding. Market development in our foreign markets will be just the same as in our domestic markets, except in different languages. Vegetable sales and promotion will be done through internet and online sales. The internet sales will be available to everyone at a special price with what we call a weekly market basket. The folks that are in the food deserts of the inner city that have access through cell phones will be able to use that EBT card they have and get a 25% automatic discount for their purchases. So we may eliminate part of the difficulties of food deserts. We'll be selling our products to school boards. Schools should be feeding kids nutritious luncheons, and that includes fresh vegetables. The USDA has a vegetable plate now instead of the pyramid that shows that there has to be a good percentage of the diet must be fresh vegetables. Recently at Delaware there was an announcement of their school lunch menu, and they were having a corn dog with a cookie as their lunch. We suggest a lunch made up of fresh vegetables will do far more to reduce obesity. We'll be providing our vegetables to natural and organic markets. Whole Foods are a great organization for the purchase of natural and organic products. Trader Joe's is another one. We'll be selling our products through chain stores, Walmart, Myers, Giant Eagle, Kroger, IGA, and local stores. And we'll be growing supplement vegetables from which the extracts will be taken by the pharmaceutical industry.
Why greenhouses?
Greenhouses and biogas plants are a marriage made in heaven. We'll build 22 greenhouses to grow vegetables to make use of the cheap self-generated electricity and biogas for heating. The carbon dioxide that comes from the engine stack will be captured, cooled, and piped into the grow houses for sequestration in our plants. Broad spectrum lighting extends the photosynthesis to a minimum of 18 hours per day. Plants absorb CO2 and grow faster and bigger. Greenhouses and secondary processing need workers, and lots of them. The OHFC biogas facilities with macro grow will be very profitable. Greenhouse labor is less than 5% of revenue. Our plan is to make it feasible for workers to work 4 days on, 4 days off, 10 hours a day. When we have achieved a certain number of facilities in operation, we'll change that to 4 days on, 4 days off, but 9 hours per day, and we'll have 2 shifts per day. The 2 shifts per day will double the number of workers, but it won't make any difference to the bottom line of the business because of the labor content being a relatively small percentage of the total. We'll serve the community by growing healthy, non-GMO food sustainably and make the outlay for OHFC debenture bonds an ethical social impact investment, one that pays back with interest and membership shares of profit.
Why is pollution reduction important?
Our environment is the basis of our lives. We drink water that's contaminated. We eat food modified by chemicals and unrelated species. We breathe air polluted by coal particulate. Our atmosphere contains too much carbon dioxide. Only a few billionaires will escape to Mars for terraforming to create another world. The rest of us have to live here. In Ohio, where we live, we've noticed in the last 10 years that there are no more whippoorwills. There are no more indigo buntings. There are a few birds. We've been chopping down our trees. We've been contaminating our soils with monocrop culture, and the result is we've lost the butterfly and insect population. By using certain insecticides, we've depleted the number of bees that are present to pollinate any of our fruit. And on top of that, we've eliminated the monarch butterfly as a beautiful, enjoyable species to see and observe. Kill it.
That was good.